Okay, welcome back. This now is video, I can hardly believe I'm saying it, video 21 of Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishments, Chapter 4, The Abbey Grange Affair. In Chapter 20, video number 20, we covered the dead body of a gentleman here, and we also spoke to his darling and most attractive Australian wife, who's over here. So watch video number 20 for those details, and yeah, the dog, and then the one on the wall. Right, yeah, so we did that one. So let's now go and scoot over to 221B Baker Street, because we need to do analysis of the rope, the bell rope. Hello, doggy doggy. Okay, we now, at least now he's reading the right book again. Are we there yet? Okay. Right, rope analysis. And then we can hang Dr. Watson with it, because he's useless. Examine rope.
Let us see how the rope was cut. The fibers at the end of the rope are smoothly cut. Let us try to find out what tool was used to cut the rope.
Okay.
The fibers from this cut appear to be different.
Right, so something much sharper.
If I cut the rope with a knife, it matches the original.
Okay, so there's a knife used to cut it. Now, B. Knotted rope. Sharp knife. And that leads us to this conclusion. The sailor background. The rope was cut once with a sharp knife and tied quickly in sailor knots. That could indicate the intruder had a sailor's background. Possibly. Any more clues? Yeah, I don't think those two really link. Okay. So, what now? Oh, we have a... What? Why is the B lit up? There's only those two. What? Okay. Right, robbery is the motive. Robbery is confirmed as a motive for the crime. The criminals may have plans to return for the silverware that they have dumped. An imitated robbery. The robbery could have been imitated to explain Sir Eustace's death. The silverware was not supposed to be found. Yeah, I don't think it was supposed to be found, and I don't think it was supposed to be picked up. Murderous visitor. Sir Eustace was murdered by the one person who was visiting that night. It was he who tied up Lady Brackenstall. He is tall and strong, and I think Lady Brackenstall knows exactly who it is. Lady is acquainted with someone from the Rock of Gibraltar, acquainted with a sailor. What is... There we go. There we go. Look for a sailor. The person who was visiting that night was probably a sailor. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. Any particular sailor? Right, so now we need to look for a sailor. Okay. Search for possible sailor suspects. Where would one search for sailors? A port, perhaps? A young boys' school?
This is where I keep my post.
Search Rock of Gibraltar, 1893. Photograph note. Rock of Gibraltar, 1893. The name of the ship and the date of Lady Brackenstall and her maid's voyage from Australia. So, I don't think it's any of those. Economic science, no. I wonder what happens just by clicking on one of these.
My search must be focused upon the ship's name and year of voyage.
Okay, well that pretty much narrows it down. Ooh, Ooh, cocaine toothpaste roll.
My search
Oh.
must be focused upon the ship's name.
I'll
and
read that
year of
later.
voyage.
I'll read that later when you guys aren't watching. Right, right, encyclopedia newspapers. So, it's not in newspapers. First Electric Railway, Bankruptcy Act, Fenian condemned for murder.
My search must be focused.
Ah! Sorry. I need to change the year here to 1893. Idiot. Right, 1893, Brentcliffe's mummy. Ooh.
My search must be focused upon the ship's name and year of voyage.
Brentcliffe was the one that just died. Or was it the one beforehand? No, Brentcliffe was the year beforehand, wasn't it? Sorry, the quest beforehand, the bloodbaths. Right, the Strand. Arrival of a Rock of Gibraltar. A ship returned. The Rock of Gibraltar, a bulk carrier from the Adelaide, Southampton, London line, Cunard Buildings, James Street, London, has returned from a 6-month voyage through India, New Zealand and Australia. The ship brought to England Miss Mary Fraser, the heiress of the Fraser family, owning land and tin mines in Australia. This reportedly beautiful young lady is presently engaged to Sir Eustace Brackenstall, one of the wealthiest gentlemen in Kent. So this lady is in fact Miss Mary Fraser, the heiress of the Fraser family, who own tin mines and so forth. So she's a fairly wealthy lady and fairly well known. So it's quite possible.
Here it is.
She's got contacts. Right, we've just read that one. Okay, so task for Wiggins. The address of a Rock of Gibraltar ship owner. Then we can find the crew list. Maybe she was talking to someone on the crew.
The shipping company, the Adelaide, Southampton, London line, and its address. Interesting. It must be the place where they keep the records, including the one for the crew of the Rock of Gibraltar.
I think that if you pretend you're from Scotland Yard, they'll give it to you without any problems.
But I have another solution.
Just call
I'll
Scotland
in
Yard.
a specialist.
Well, last time he called in the specialist, he opened the window.
Wiggins, could you come upstairs, please?
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
I need a register, my young friend. If you could borrow it, there will be half a guinea for every one of you. I need the crew list of the Rock of Gibraltar in 1893, and their current employment.
I'm straight on it, Mr. Holmes.
Do you really think they'll find it, Holmes?
My secret police is better than the Yard in many ways.
But less crooked. Right, 3 hours later. That's
Here
quick.
it is, Mr. Holmes. But we can't take it back. It's too risky.
Put it on the table. I'll take care of it. Good work, young Wiggins.
Why can't they take it back, or do they burn the place down? Why are you hanging around? Do you want something?
I left it right on the table for you, sir.
Good. Now you may disappear. Or do you want payment? Which table did you leave it on?
This list shows the senior officers of the Rock of Gibraltar, on which Lady Brackenstall and her maid made their voyage. Lady Brackenstall does not know anyone in England. This must mean that someone on this list is our mysterious visitor.
Okay.
And these are the lists of the senior officers of the Adelaide, Southampton, London line ships. Let us find out who was in London upon November the 7th.
Oh dear. Okay. Mr. Archibald Rogers. Nope. Mr. James Talcott, first officer. Nope. Henry Southwood Senior. Match.
This list shows the senior officers of the Rock of Gibraltar, on which Lady Brackenstall and her maid made their voyage. Lady Brackenstall does not know anyone in England. This must mean that someone on this list is our mysterious visitor.
Okay, what am I supposed to do? Ernest J. Woody.
This list...
Oh, shut up. Ernest J. Woody, Jr.
This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved.
Okay, what about... Oh, hold on, see what you mean. Departure from Adelaide, Australia, May the 6th, arrival... So this one is still away. Right, this ship. This ship left in October, back in January, so it can't be that ship. This ship leaves on November the 10th. So, Jack Crocker. In fact, let's go back to the beginning, because I want to cross off the ones that we know it can't be, if that makes any sense. So, Charles Chilly, there, he's left on the 17th, so it can't be him.
This officer was on a ship that sailed half a month ago. He wasn't in London at the time of the crime.
Okay, that's what I suspected. John Bussell, Harvey B, Robert Gordon Jr., Charles Clan Jr., Herbert Hawkins, William Partridge.
Half a month ago. He wasn't in London at the time of the crime.
Right, there's William Partridge off. So now the next one. Jack Crocker.
Mr. Jack Crocker was in London upon the date of the crime, and he is due to depart in 2 days.
So he's a possible. Duncan Chalmers, Peter Davidson, Neil Harkus Jr., George Stewart, Frank Wilkie, and Murdoch Hooper. Okay, next. Alfred Pitchford, Harold Sanders, Van der Linde, Thomas Walker.
This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved.
Okay, cross him off. Herbert Whittingham, still at sea.
This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved.
Okay, down to 2 now. John Foxall, Dunford, next. Archibald Roger, James Talcott, Henry Southwood.
This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved.
Okay.
Captain Jack Crocker is our mysterious visitor. He was the only one around at the time of the murder.
Okay. So, Rock of Gibraltar. I've done that list. Fine. So, task. Call Crocker to confront him. Okay, how does one call Crocker? Have we got a telephone in here?
This Crocker, do you think...
It would be interesting to meet him. Our young friend should be able to find him.
That's why he's hanging around. Because Crocker knows all the little boys. There we go.
Wiggins, could you find a way to bring this Captain Crocker here to us?
Here? Holmes, that could be dangerous.
No problem, Mr. Holmes.
Mr. Crocker, I presume. Or was it Captain Crocker?
Mr. Holmes, I was informed that you were looking for me, and I'd like to know why.
Yes, it is important that we talk. You will soon understand why.
Let's check you out, matey. He's got a beard, that's quite growth versa. Some eyes. Clear, sharp look, honest. Got an honest look about him. Although he's wanted for murder. Okay, got a hat. Strong. No wedding ring. Okay, down we go the other side. Got all the buttons. Big belt there. Sea knife. No comment. Okay. Clean boots. Odd. The rest of him's all covered in crap. Well, he really is covered in yuck. And newspaper ink. Lady Brackenstall.
You are acquainted with Lady Mary Brackenstall, are you not?
Yes, I think I do remember her. From when I was first officer, but I still don't see...
It seems your relationship went beyond that of mere passenger and first officer.
How dare you?
Indeed, how reckless a feeling is love, particularly if one is prepared to commit a murder in its name.
Explain yourself this instant.
You are aware that the murder made the headlines of the morning press. You read the newspaper report, but to your dismay, found it much fabricated. Once you learned that I wanted to see you, you came straight away. You needed to know what I had found.
You... and what do you know?
That evening, you were with Lady Brackenstall, despite the danger.
I'm not afraid, Mr. Holmes. Besides, all of this is just guesswork.
You would be right, if there was no evidence.
What then?
Yeah, Is that before or after the murder?
Lady Brackenstall was tied to a chair on the night of the murder. And it was you who tied her up.
You call that evidence?
Poor health, item of silverware, all bruises, or sailor's knots, ship crew. Sailor's knots.
Yes, as she was tied with a sailor's knot. Your handiwork.
So, it's a sailor who's done it. That proves nothing, Mr. Holmes. I'm not the only sailor in London right now.
Well, in a way.
Your theory is flawed, anyway. On the night of the murder, I was aboard the Sharp. I was supervising the repair of a porthole.
At night?
It was an emergency. There was a leak. You can ask the ship's carpenter. He can confirm.
I'm sure that he can.
Perfect. In that case, we have nothing more to talk about. Good evening, gentlemen.
Holmes, what should we do now? Would you like to check his alibi?
No. There is no doubt that these men will testify in his favor, and there will be no way to check.
So, what then?
So, we must work with what we have. We have all the puzzle pieces.
Now I understand why you dissected the bell rope.
Good. So, we have another clue. Captain Crocker's statement. Which leads us to this. Crocker's involvement. Crocker is lying. His involvement is clear. He appeared as soon as he heard that I was looking for him, thus signalling his guilt. Crocker's alibi. Captain Crocker was aboard the Sharp on the night of the murder. He was not afraid to confront me. He had a confident demeanour. I think he's involved. And this now leads to the captain is the killer. The captain is a killer. Sir Eustace was murdered by one person who was visiting that night. The murderer is tall and agile and a high-ranking sailor. We can arrest Captain Crocker. Jack Crocker is a murderer, and you will bring him and his accomplice, Lady Brackenstall, to justice or absolve. The murder was committed in self-defense. Jack Crocker defended a woman against a violent and dipsomaniacal man. The mystery is solved, but you decide to keep it secret. There is no need to inform the police. No, I'm sorry. The guy is a murderer. Or should we continue? Let's just continue, see if we're missing anything. Because I'd hate to condemn an innocent man. Too much. Okay. I don't see there's anything to be gained from Abbey Grange. Well, actually, maybe there is. Let's go and talk to the wife and see if we can get her to open up, as it were. Okay. We're here. I want to go and confront the wife. I fear she may have more details than she is letting on.
Oh, what a horrible thing to have
It's not.
happened.
What about you then?
Please leave my Mary alone. She's
Well-
suffered so much, she deserves some rest.
Really? Two people. There were 3 people drinking wine out of these glasses. One of the 3 probably prefers wine with beeswing. There were 2 people drinking wine out of his glasses. The remaining glass with the beeswing consisted solely of the dregs. I'm not seeing too much to change it. I'm going to go for this, because at the end of the day, it was a murder, and not so much a crime of passion, because he shouldn't have been there in the first place. You can hardly claim defence. And if it was an accident, then he should have hung around. If he was so honest, he should have stayed and admitted his guilt at the time. Running away and hiding the silver does not
Wiggins,
look
could
like
you ask Mr. Crocker to
an
come here
accident.
again, please?
Right away.
Yeah, I thought it would straight on. You, my boy, are skewed.
Why did you make me come here again, Mr. Holmes?
Because you're up for
It
murder.
is over. I know that it was you who killed Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
What?
I know, because of the height at which the rope was cut. The knife used was a sea knife. The knots were sailor's knots, and not least the sheer force that was put behind the killing blow. And because you are the only one who knows Lady Mary Brackenstall in London. And because you love her.
It's true.
It is
Gotcha.
time for you to tell us the whole truth.
I admit that I loved Mary madly from the first day that I met her. But I never did come to visit her, for I believed that she was in a happy household. When I talked to her maid, who told me everything, I was insane with rage. I was due to set sail for 6 months away. I wanted only to see her again. But it turned into a damnable nightmare when he barged in. He dared raise his hand to her. He was not even worthy of licking her boots. Oh, I regret nothing. I admit I killed the monster out of love for her. She will forgive me if she is able.
Lady Brackenstall already forgave you. She said nothing.
Mary.
But that makes her an accomplice as well
Yes.
as her maid. It places her in danger yet again.
Mr. Holmes,
You would not have managed to protect her.
till I die, do you hear me? Here is a letter that sets everything clear, and it is the one that should be disclosed to the police. I am the only culprit. Mary had nothing to do with it. Now it is time to end this.
Okay. What are we doing? Left mouse click. Oh, I hate these things on the mouse. It's next to impossible. Might be one thing on a... What? Yeah, okay. Might be a lot easier on a joypad, but...
You should have let me die. How can I live if Mary suffers?
I am sorry, Captain Crocker, but there has been quite enough death in this case.
Besides, it's for a judge to decide, not me.
Inspector, I give you Sir Eustace's killer. He tried his best to perform his own justice.
Well, I'm not surprised. Yes, it was me. I confess.
Here is a piece of evidence that can be used in court.
Perfect. A case that went smoothly for once.
Right, the Abbey Grange Affair. Sir Eustace was murdered by Captain Jack Crocker, who was visiting Lady Brackenstall that night. They staged it as a robbery by the Randall gang. Crocker used his sea knife to cut the bell rope to tie the lady, and then hid the silverware in the well. He committed a violent crime for which he deserves a condign punishment. Clues found, 16. Conclusion, Captain is a killer. Moral choice erects Captain Crocker. Yes. Done. 93% of the people solved it the same way, and 34% made the same moral choice. I think that was a good call on our side, but it does worry me that the previous episode we completely screwed up, but yeah. Right. Is there more? I hadn't even asked, this has gone on for years. We've still got a farmer's uniform and a rogue's uniform in the cupboard.
Holmes, for heaven's sake, whatever's going on?
Oh, hello, Watson. You're early. Did you kill all of your patients?
What? Holmes, where have all these wretched bees come from?
I increased the temperature of the room so as to prevent them from hibernating. I needed to take a sample of honey. But it worked, Watson. We will have honey all year round.
Apart from the fact you got rid of the bees.
Ridiculous and dangerous.
They're domestic bees, Apis mellifera, such industrious workers. Anyway, Watson, I am sorry, but I must leave you. I'm in rather a hurry.
You have a new case?
Yes, but nothing as thrilling as this experiment. A theft of plants at the Royal Botanic Gardens in Kew. I'm helping a minister who's an old friend of mine. You can join me if you like.
Well, I'll admit that I'd far rather accompany you than remain alone here with these workers of yours. Besides, you'll need a helping hand with the flowers you're intending to bring back.
Watson, however did you guess?
For the great Sherlock Holmes to bother with the theft of plants. Come on, admit that you're planning to spoil your little bees with some rare pollens.
Since when did I become so transparent? Let us go.
Okay. So, that is the end of the Abbey Grange Affair. And this now is the chapter of the Kew Gardens Drama. So I'm going to end this video here so that we can continue afresh, or start afresh with the Kew Gardens Drama as video number 22. Jesus Christ. If only the vanishing of Ethan Carter had been this long, it would have changed it entirely. But there we go. Right, let us end the video here.